When the generals lost the pen. We're talking about Trump's Quantico speech today. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on the baseline. I hope you guys are having a great day, a great night, a great life. So didn't it feel like something cracked that afternoon? I mean, not a rebellion, not even a headline, just the sound of pens stopping mid-sentence. The look on those generals' faces, guys, it was classic. Because when the President of the United States stands before 800 generals and starts talking about the enemy within, that's not just another policy speech. That's a stress test for democracy. Now, according to the Washington Post and Reuters and Time, President Trump and his Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth summoned senior military leaders to Quantico last week. Now, the meeting itself, it was absolutely not routine, right? It was political theater dressed in uniform. Now, pause with me for a second, take a breath, because every general in that room has survived decades and decades of command, bureaucracy, and PowerPoint presentations. Yet what they faced that day wasn't chaos on the battlefield. It was chaos at a podium. Now, Trump told the officers, and this is on record, by the way, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military because it's the enemy from within. Now, CBS quoted that on September 30th, and he warned, if you don't like what he's saying, you can leave, but there goes your rank as well. Now, the crowd didn't erupt. It kind of froze. There was some giggling, but meanwhile, Hegseth opened by renaming the Pentagon itself. So he says, welcome to the War Department. The era of the Department of Defense is over. Now, that's not a joke line. That's a signal flare. Because the last time a democracy flirted with calling its own defense arm a war department, the world was still in black and white. Now, picture the generals. They came with notebooks ready, and they always do, of course, but ready to capture strategic directives, budgets, and deployments. But what do they get instead? Well, they got slogans. I mean, CNN later interviewed Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, who attended part of that event. And she said some of the officers just abandoned their notes because it was so incoherent and the rhetoric was so dangerous. And that's the moment everyone remembers, right? The world's most disciplined room quietly deciding there was nothing left or worth writing down. Now, you guys ever watch a movie where the hero keeps delivering the wrong lines and everyone on set just stands there hoping to God it ends soon? Yeah, that's what it was, except with nuclear clearance codes. Now, critics from both parties called the speech unsettling. Now, retired General Barry McCaffrey told The Independent it was one of the most bizarre, meandering addresses ever given to United States commanders. And if you think that's just rhetoric, watch what happened next. A string of retirements. I mean, General Thomas Basir, head of Air Force Global Strike Command, requested retirement days later, citing personal and family reasons. General David Alvin, the Air Force Chief of Staff, soon followed. And maybe coincidence, maybe the military version of quietly stepping off a sinking stage, I don't know. But let's flip this around, because Trump's defenders say it was simply tough love, a needed purge of woke generals. I mean, they're generals, oh my gosh, guys. But the speeches that day, they went even further. I mean, Hegseth literally listed names, out with the Mackenzies and the Mills, in with the Pattons, Now, I'm all for historical appreciation, but bringing back Patton isn't a strategy, it's cosplay. It's like saying we're solving cyber warfare with muskets. Every democracy wrestles with a case of nostalgia, but nostalgia makes a terrible GPS. It tells you where you've been, but it doesn't have anything to do with where anyone's going. And here's the bigger picture to all this, because what the world saw at Quantico wasn't confidence. It was control anxiety. Like when leaders lose coherence, right? They compensate with dominance. And when sentences collapse, the threats, they fill the silence. And that silence, that collective decision by trained professionals to stop writing, is the sound of an institution protecting itself from madness. Now, one historian told Time magazine, right, it looked less like command and more like a performance. And that's exactly right. Because when command turns theatrical, everyone becomes an extra, and democracy stops being the actual director. Now, we often talk about coups and conspiracies and takeovers. That's part of, I think, the zeitgeist of the United States. But institutions rarely die in gunfire. They die in confusion. Empires seldom fall to invasion. They dissolve in the noise. And that's the thing, right? With 48 hours, fact checkers, or within 48 hours, fact checkers at CNN, Reuters had to untangle a web of claims from that same speech, from exaggerated migrant numbers to false foreign policy victories. The facts simply didn't survive the spotlight. So yeah, the general stopped taking notes, but journalists started taking names. And that's how checks and balances actually sound. One side goes quiet, the other starts typing just a bit faster. Now, critics argue these retirements prove moral exhaustion or morale exhaustion. Supporters claim they prove a cleansing of bureaucracy. Now, both can be true in fragments, but here's what definitely happened. The chain of command was rewritten on the fly, not by law, but by a loyalty test. And loyalty is powerful until it demands silence. And that's why this moment matters so much. So what do you guys think? Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? What did you guys think of Hegseth's speech and Trump speaking? Please put a comment in the section below. I read and reply to all of them. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching The Baseline, and we'll catch you the next round. Okay, cheers, everybody.